Welcome to MOTORVAULT. I'm Josh, and this is a 1965 Superformance Daytona Coupe. Superformance builds recreations of Shelby Cobras, Shelby Daytonas, GT40s, and other really cool specialty vintage racing cars of that era. They started with the Cobra back in the 90s when Superformance began out of California. And after a handful of years, they finally got onto doing the Daytona. The significance of the Shelby Daytona is that they started life as 289 Cobras. But Carroll Shelby wanted a little bit more than just a 289 Cobra. The 289 Cobras were great cars, but on the tracks with the super long straightaways, Le Mans and Spa, the open top cars created drag. So in 1963, for development, he brought a guy on his team named Peter Brock. Peter Brock, just prior, had influence at Chevrolet with the split window Corvette. Peter Brock took a standard looking Shelby 289 Cobra and transformed the body. Aerodynamic, smooth, closed all the way through with the cam back rear, and it made a massive difference. Shelby and his crew of ace drivers, including the late legend Bob Bondurant, absolutely took it to the Ferraris, the Porsches, the Corvettes, and made their stamp on the sports car world. They were this close to winning the FIA GT Championship in 1964 before some Ferrari political games. So they decided to come back for another shot in 1965 with a few more chassis. And that is when Ford first beat Ferrari with Shelby, with the Daytonas, the first American car to win the GT World Championship, won its class at Daytona, at Le Mans, and at the end of the year, won the title. These cars live in infamy as there are only 6 original Daytonas built in 1964, 1965. The only difference is those cars are worth well north of $15 million. And that is why Superformance started building these. A dead-on recreation to the original Shelby Daytonas. This particular chassis is one of the first 150 made in the original run from Superformance. This car finished in Ford Indigo Blue. Looks absolutely stunning, as the original color was just a little bit different, but is a nice modern tribute to the original cars. Underneath that hood is a 351 Dart Block Ford Performance engine that has been pushed out to 444 cubic inches and has 470 horsepower. An absolute monster on the streets, as you can take these cars on public roads, tracks, wherever you feel like. They are ready to rock and roll. Small block Ford that looks like a big block. 351 that has been punched to 444. Valve covers are custom made to look like proper 427 big block valve covers. A really special touch on this car. Not only that, the header and exhaust system was completely custom made for this car, and the really cool thing is they shoot out the side, proper to what the original Daytonas were back in the 1960s. Putting this massive engine in this aerodynamic race machine that dominated Le Mans, dominated Daytona, really set this car apart, as it had the top speed advantage over the Ferrari GT cars of that era. Similar design ideas is what led to some of the creation that built up as well the Ford GT40 program. And that is what officially killed off Ferrari in the 1960s in the sports car world. And Ferrari has not come back since to win Le Mans. So this car, its heritage has a lot to do with modern Shelby, where we are today, and why Ferrari is going back to Le Mans this coming year. Sitting in a Superformance Daytona really does feel like you're sitting back in 1965 in one of the original cars, as if you're Bob Bondurant, Dan Gurney, Ken Miles, one of the true originators and bad drivers that wheeled these cars to victory all across the world, kicking everybody's rear end. The 6-speed manual transmission, very similar to the design to the original Cobras. All the different dials and switches and the start button. I mean, it's proper to the 1960s. It truly does throw you back in the past. And when you see Carroll Shelby's personal signature sitting on the passenger side, that's the icing on the cake. One of the best sounds of this car is this. Hard to beat that. Let's go racing.